That's a decent shot. Nice. I like what you did there. Bring us in, man.
Mr. Classic with Three Crafty Bastards. And today is June 18th. Tomorrow is a national holiday. For those who didn't know. With me today,
of course, I am B. Too Short Shorts Smith. You like what I did there?
I didn't know we were going. I was like,
yeah, or
some rapper music, or
you know what, like
Too Short.
No, like I got the Isaiah Thomas shorts on right now. Like you can't see them, but they're definitely above the knee. Why? Because they're comfortable, man, and they're stylish.
I like those.
And I just feel like these were the shorts that beckoned for tonight's podcast.
I like those. When those come back out, I'm guaranteed to get one or two pair.
Dude, I've been looking everywhere because remember we had a discussion about it, and I was like,
"They're not due out yet, though. They're probably going to be
How are shorts not due out yet? It's like 90.
That style. It ain't. When's it really been 90?
Since June?
We've had how many 90-degree days have we really had so far?
Since June?
We just got a 70-something degree day the other day.
Man, we're upstairs in a room and you was just sweating. You talking about when has it been 90? When have you been outside when it's been 90? That's a better question.
Actually, I haven't, so maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Because it's supposed to be pretty toasty this weekend.
Yeah. Dude, it's been pretty freaking
But
warm,
I just figure some of those shorts, I mean, to me, they're stylish. I think when they come out, it's going to be a little bit warmer.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe next month, if they bring them back.
Well, here's what I feel, man, is if above the knee shorts or shorts period, if you can't find them right now, you're not gonna find them because it's the season. That's like not finding Christmas ornaments in December.
Yeah, but it's also kind of like they're gonna bring some new stuff out after they've been selling some of the old stuff.
You're the shopper.
That's my faith. That's my faith in shopping.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give that to you because you are the pro shopper. I thought I was good at collecting clothes, but I got nothing on this guy over here.
Yeah, I'm kind of bad.
So, what are we gonna talk about tonight?
I seen a rankings of 1980s movies, and if anyone knows me, knows that I love movies, and the 80s would probably mark I don't want to say my pinnacle, but maybe the beginning of my movie watching.
Sure.
So many wonderful movies that came out around that time, and I don't have them. It's hard to rank them because there's so many. So if we did a top 10, I could put 10 movies in there, but the rankings, I don't know if I could do it.
So you can't see it, but right here, this is how into it he is. He's got these movies written down, the year that they came out. It's like 100 movies on one page. I didn't think
Oh, the second page.
Same page. There's a second page. Huh. I didn't think anybody on Earth had that kind of time, but apparently Mr. Classic over here does. And so this is going to be a Mr. Classic show.
Well, here's the thing. If you find out something you're passionate about, and we say, Brandon, we need you to lead that, you're going to be like, boom, I got everything covered. Yes. Don't even worry about it. If you only got 2 minutes to say, I'll cover the next 10.
Yeah, hell yeah. Because I totally look forward to being the Flavor Flav of this segment. I mean, without the dating show.
Well, then I'd love to be Chuck D.
Yeah. So, kick us off, man. We're going to talk about 80s movies.
First of all, we're gonna have a top 10. Okay, I don't know if you've done that or not. We're gonna have a top 10. There's movies that are like my favorite movies, and there's just movies that were just really amazing. So there's movies on my list that aren't necessarily award-winning movies, but they're like I love watching these movies. So, but I'm going to mention some of the movies that didn't make the list.
Sure.
That didn't make my list. Now, they could be on your list, if you have a list.
Well, here's the thing, is I know what movies I like. I don't 100% have a list, but if I had to throw together a top 5 of 80s movies, or even a top 10 of 80s movies that I loved, I could definitely do it. I could probably even rank them. But I think we're going to learn a little something about each other tonight, because I feel like there's going to be a few times where I'm going to have to say, I've never seen that.
And I think I've pretty much seen almost all these movies on this list.
Yeah, so
I've seen pretty much every movie on this list.
So instead of us getting together and chastising Mr. Classic over here for not seeing Flashpoint Paradox and that whole deal, it is my turn to catch ridicule for not seeing some very, very popular 80s movies. Which, side note, if I can just talk real quick about it, My girlfriend and I, we've been watching the Goldbergs pretty regularly, which is a good series. It's an excellent series. And man, if there was ever anything that you wanted to know about iconic 80s moments, they're included in this show.
Yep.
The really neat thing is that the creator, Adam Goldberg, really did kind of document his life, and then some of the shots in the show are shot for shot of some of the moments that he's documented through his childhood.
He's recorded on camcorder.
Right.
Like
right.
VHS tapes.
Now, I love the 80s, and probably more so than movies, because you have to remember I was born in 79, so when 80 hit, I was 1. When 85 hit, I was 6, where I was turning 6, mm-hmm. right? 85, a very popular year for Nintendo, Transformers, G.I. Joe, all the toys that came along with the 80s, all that culture that came along with the 80s. That was more my thing. I was still playing with Thundercats when you were watching Back to the Future or whatever it might be.
See, I grew up on ESPN came out when you were born. I was 3. ESPN came out in 79. MTV was 83.
Mm-hmm.
So BET, they say, was before that, but I don't remember it. But BET, VH1, MTV. So that's when they played all videos, and then they started going to other crap that we watch today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was watching quite a bit. So I'm only 3 years older than you are. But as far as the development of what's on here, I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff happening in the 80s.
Yeah, certainly. And you know what? You would never really think that 3 years would be. You would never think that 3 years would cause that much of an age gap or that much of a culture gap. But I was thinking about it when I was downstairs. Like, we didn't necessarily have movies. Yeah. Like when my family started to purchase movies, it was because we had finally made it. We had finally made it to where everybody was comfortable and happy, and if we were struggling, my parents never showed it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So when my mom started buying movies, she started buying Disney movies because they were going to be collector's items, and they were. You know, and that was...
My mom took me to some of those movies.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s, you know, that kind of thing. But it was cheaper for my parents to buy the VHS and a $2 thing of popcorn and for us to watch it at home rather than to take us to the movies. So my parents never took us to the movies ever.
Yeah.
I can tell you probably the first movie that I saw in the theater in the 80s was 1989, Batman.
Wow.
And it scared the shit out of me.
What?
Yeah, dude, I was only 10.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of the cultural gap here when we start to talk about some of these 80s movies. Now, don't get me wrong. You go back and you watch some of the classics, but obviously I have not seen all of these movies. So, if you're watching right now, you're going to see this look over my face that's like... Because I have nothing to contribute.
I just want to one thing about when Batman came out, and I was going to mention Batman '89, but when Batman came out and they had the Prince made a video.
Oh my God, Bat Dance!
Oh my God, I loved it.
Yes. Who's that? Vicky Vale. I like Batman. Oh yeah,
everything surrounding that movie when it came out was exciting for me.
Dude, yes.
Exciting.
They couldn't have chose anyone better to do a soundtrack for that movie than Prince.
Yeah.
Like, hey Jackie, seems you left your number in my computer. Oh man, don't even get me started, man.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So what I'm going to do is read some of the movies that weren't necessarily on my top 10. It doesn't mean they weren't great. Doesn't mean I didn't like them. I prioritized a few movies over these movies. A popular actor around that time was Eddie Murphy. So 48 Hours is one of the first movies I have listed that came out in 82, which I can't believe it's 82.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte.
Yep. 48 Hours, I was a big Tom Hanks fan. Tom Hanks had Bachelor Party and Big came out. Bachelor Party came out in 84, and Big came out in 88.
Okay, I've seen Big, but Bachelor Party?
It is hilarious. If you've never seen it, there's a character... minor character named Nick the Dick. There is a character named Nick the Dick on there, and the shenanigans that go along with this movie are perfect. It's everything was just perfect.
So really, we just have to discuss a short side note real quick because this was my initial thought. So you're like, Nick the Dick. And, for the recording that's going to end up on Spotify, you don't know this, but we're actually recording on Facebook Live as well. And then we'll take that video and we'll post it to YouTube. So the minute you said Nick the Dick, I was like, what, are you trying to get us both in Facebook jail?
I think... Yeah, I'll try to watch it from here on out.
No, dude, let it rip, man. What's the worst that could happen? Just don't do what you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
For those I got put in Facebook jail today for a discussion, and I have to leave it at that. So I don't want to get in any more trouble.
Right.
So I'll try to revert from.
You already on probation?
Yeah, I am. But anyway.
Okay. Back to Tom Hanks.
So Bachelor Party and Big. Back to the Future came out in '85.
Yep, seen it.
I didn't put that on there. John Cusack had a few good movies. We were talking about that earlier with Better Off Dead. The other one was Summer. I forgot the name of it already. But maybe that was in the 90s, though. Anyway, he did a couple good movies back then. Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
84. And then you have these hip-hop movies with Turbo. We talk about Turbo and Ozone.
Right.
With Breakin'. 84, Beat Street 84, and Crush Groove 1980. Dude. So we had all these rappers, hip hop lore came together on the big screen. There was even what year was that Fat Boys movie?
Oh gosh.
Because that had to be either late 70s, early 80s too.
That was probably early 80s.
So then hip hop hit the big screen. Colors, 88.
Classic. I have seen that.
Die Hard, 88.
I have seen that. The Christmas movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Every time I say that, it ruffles people's feathers.
Yeah.
So I say it just to ruffle feathers. In the news, Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee
also
came out in 89. So that's 30, 40? 89, 19, yeah, 31 years. So, Howard the Duck.
Also
the first Marvel movie.
Yes.
First Marvel movie, 1986. I'm going to mention that later. Lethal Weapon.
Also a good movie.
87.
Even though I'm not a huge fan of Mel Gibson.
There was a small... is this Corey Haim? Was that Corey Haim and Lucas? Did you watch Lucas? He was this little pipsqueak kid. Wanted to impress the hot chick. Charlie Sheen's in it and kind of takes up for him. He gets on a football team. They plunk him around, put Icy Hot in his jock strap. A lot of shenanigans go on with that, but at the end of the movie, he catches a touchdown and gets knocked out, and everyone starts crying and stuff. But Lucas, I want to say that's Corey Haim, but that's pretty good. Another Michael Keaton movie, Mr. Mom.
Oh, Mr. Mom was a classic.
83, and the beginning of Police Academy started in 84.
Yes,
so
very nice.
They have at least 6 sequels that I'm aware of, maybe more. I don't know. Predator, 87. So a lot of great movies that I have a ton, so maybe I should speed up just a little bit. Purple Rain came out in 84. If you haven't seen that, for me it's a great movie.
Yeah, definitely.
He's made 3 other movies. Under the Cherry Moon.
Prince has.
Yeah, Under the Cherry Moon, Graffiti Bridge, and there was some other documentary type something or other that really was probably not even worth watching.
Right.
Unless you are like a Prince nut. Which a lot of people are.
Graffiti Bridge, that was the one with Morris Day and the Times?
I think they were on almost all of them.
Were they? Nice.
You know what? Maybe Morris Day was in that one. I don't remember seeing them. I only remember seeing Jerome in Under the Cherry Moon. So, and did you know Morris Day was Prince's cousin?
Yes.
So, fun fact for those who didn't know.
Very nice.
The movie Aliens started. It came out. It says 86. God. It seems like it was earlier than that.
Aliens?
Aliens. The first one with Ripley.
No way.
86. Look it up. I did it 4 times. I was like, is something wrong here? 86. It seems like it was older than that. So that was after she was in Ghostbusters. Because Ghostbusters was 84. The original Blade Runner with Harrison Ford was 82. Bull Durham, Caddyshack, 1980. I can't believe it's that old.
Classic.
I can't believe it's that old. That's 40 years old. Then you had some of the other good movies like Casualty of War. Stephen King classics, Christine and Cujo, came out in the same year, 83. Dead Poet Society, another kid favorite, E.T. Extraterrestrial, 82, with the young Drew Barrymore.
Dude, yes.
Yes, loved all of it.
E.T. was classic.
Yep. Yep. Flash Gordon. I don't remember the name of the main actor.
Flash Gordon. That's it. That's all I was going to contribute.
Well, as a kid, that was an awesome movie that when it came out.
Now, do you ever go back and watch the series? You know, there was an animated series of Flash Gordon, as well as I think a television series.
If I can find it, I probably would.
2-Bit TV.
Who?
2-Bit T-U-B or 2B 2UBI TV.
Okay.
Flash Gordon is on there.
I will check it out because there's some other old cartoons that I really like, including the Gummy Bears.
I think also on there, and also all 3 series of G.I. Joe, and all the Transformers Generation 1 through like Generation 4.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We had a baseball run of 8 Men Out and Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams was a good movie.
Rambo: First Blood came out in 82.
Nice.
I didn't realize it was that old. I remember seeing that at the movie theater.
So, isn't Stallone still making Rambo movies?
They made one more. I think it was called Last Blood. I just saw
that was like released here recently, right?
Last year, if I'm correct. 2 years ago?
Did you see it?
I did.
Was it any good?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't. It's hard to maintain the type of action because he's so old now.
He's still jacked though.
He's jacked, but he's like punching 70 in the mouth.
He's still jacked.
Okay. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger pulled it back.
I mean, yeah, but
they need to stop making those expendable movies too, because they're like, you guys are too old to be doing this.
Right.
You guys be rolling around on wheelchairs with missile launchers on them.
Expendables in wheelchairs. Terry Crews pushing Arnold Schwarzenegger.
They're going to be called Dependables. So I'm just saying, they're all getting old. They need to start. Pull it back. Pull it back.
Why is that, dude? That's good. That's really good.
I just thought of that.
Man, yes.
Does anybody remember Footloose?
Yeah,
With Kevin Bacon?
Kevin Bacon, yeah.
That was 84.
Oh my gosh.
So that's another iconic and legendary movie.
Every time I hear Kevin Bacon's last name, I get hungry. Bacon.
You know what? It's hard not to.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th started in 1980.
I did see that.
Friday the 13th, the original one. Young Jamie Lee Curtis.
Before Trading Places?
Way before Trading Places.
Man.
Full Metal Jacket, 87 was an awesome film.
Full Metal Jacket. So, I have seen that movie, and I've seen that movie a few times. Vincent D'Onofrio's performance in that movie always catches me.
Yep.
Private Pile.
Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mentioned Ghostbusters at 84.
Classic.
Glory with Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, 1989.
Gosh.
Right.
I feel like with what's going on in this day and age, a movie like that is very progressive.
Yep.
Or to make a movie like that is very progressive back in the 80s.
Well, if you think about it, when you go back to some of the movements that are going on with Black Lives Matters and what's going on today, and they're doing like history on slavery and whatnot, and they talk about that's clearly during the Civil War.
Sure.
But when you look at when the slaves came over in 1619 and blah blah blah, they're fighting for freedom, to make that film when they did, I mean that was.
I mean, they were really only not even 30 years removed from segregation laws.
Yep. So 20, matter of fact.
Yeah.
So
69, right?
Yep. So this came out 89.
Wow.
Yeah. So wonderful movie there.
It seems like so long ago.
It does. Gremlins, 84. I think I mentioned that. I'm going to skip to Pretty in Pink at 86.
Nice.
The John Hughes films. Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink. What else am I missing? I know I got it on a list somewhere. Anyway, I'll find it later. Raging Bull squeaked in 1981. It's Raging Bull with Robert De Niro. That is a iconic movie for him when he was really hot probably back in the 70s and 80s when he was young and daring, because he did the movie Taxi as well, which I don't think Taxi made the list because I think that was in the 70s. But another awesome actor from that era.
De Niro.
Robert De Niro. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
One of my favorites as a kid, Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah.
1984.
Nerds.
Red Dawn was also with Patrick Swayze and the gang, because there was a lot of great actors in that movie as well. Risky Business with Tom Cruise, 83. Scarface was 83. Another Spike Lee joint, School Days, was 88.
Right.
If you've never seen School Days, that's part of the reason I was interested in fraternities and sororities.
So let's back up for just a moment and talk about Scarface. We were kind of talking off camera when we were talking about what we were going to do tonight, and Scarface came up. And anybody has seen Scarface, you know that movie was like a pop culture movie that transcended throughout the decades, even into today. And you made the comment that if they ever tried to remake one, you would petition.
I would start a petition so that they did not remake Scarface, because some of the films that they're trying to remake, I believe they should not be. I'm not thinking of them at the time. I know one movie I saw called A Death at a Funeral was made, I want to say early 2000s. 2 to 3 years later, they redid that movie.
Yeah.
With a black cast. And I didn't like it. I think it had like Bernie Mac, Martin Lawrence, and a bunch of other great cast members in it. But you gotta leave some films alone. The original Death at a Funeral was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So to see it remade and they try to make certain things funny, and I think it had Danny Glover as the old guy.
Right.
I didn't like it. So stop touching stuff.
So okay. So then that poses the question. Before you continue, that kind of poses the question: if there were any movies on your list that you would not want them to remake, what would be, say, the top 5 movies that you would say, just don't touch it, just leave it alone?
One of my favorite movies is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
It's like a kid. It's a fantasy movie because of how he skips school and goes out and has a whole adventure throughout the whole day and never gets caught. I think they can remake it, but it wouldn't have the same flavor.
Right.
Because there's too much technology today where he would have gotten caught today.
Well, I mean, there's ways around technology as well. We both know when we covered the whole COVID thing and learning at home, how kids were smart enough to loop their
That's true.
Their presence in front of a camera.
That's true.
So that it was thought that they were actually paying attention to the video class or whatever when they were actually off playing Legos or whatever they were doing.
I just don't think the premise would be as funny. I don't know.
No,
because I think the times are different.
Certainly.
I think that matters.
I think that you could probably make a movie like it, but you couldn't remake that movie.
Right. So it had to be called obviously something else.
Yeah, but what are 5 movies that? Okay, so what are 4 movies aside from Scarface that, if anybody tried to touch them, you would be like, hold on, man, like this isn't right.
That's how hard that is.
No, you got a list of 100 freaking movies there.
I do, but if some of them can, but they're just not going to be the same. Think about, like, if you don't call it, like when they remade Total Recall.
Right.
When they remade Total Recall, that movie was actually good if they didn't call it Total Recall.
Right.
Because I'm comparing it to the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Total Recall, and what's going on in movies like something completely different. So you can remake them. Like, I got the Karate Kid on there. The Karate Kid remake. Actually, I like the one with Jaden Smith, the original, better than the Ralph Macchio.
Really?
I do. I like it because it's more modern. For some reason, I like the fight scenes at the end. The stories seemed a little bit more updated, and I just liked overall. I'm a big Jackie Chan fan. I'm not a big Jaden Smith fan because he's a terrible actor right now. That was his last good in front of the camera scenes. After that,
right.
Awful. But I think for what they did, for when they made it, I think it was great. People said they should not have called it the Karate Kid. So it's one of those movies that, because it was more, they said it was more kung fu than karate.
Right.
But I enjoyed that movie more than the Ralph Macchio movie. And it's not to say that I didn't enjoy the Ralph Macchio, because I did, obviously.
Right.
So
if they tried to remake Back to the Future, are you in or no?
No.
Okay. If they tried to remake any of the Indiana Jones movies, not going forward like they did with Shia LaBeouf, but try to remake Raiders of the Lost Ark, are you in or no?
You can't.
If they tried to remake, we were talking about either Harlem Nights or Coming to America. If they tried to remake either one of those movies, you in or no?
I don't see how you can.
Right.
So even if you pick some of the older movies that from when we were younger, like, can they redo the Never-Ending Story?
You know what? Here's what I'll say about the Never-Ending Story. I would say with the technology, the visual effect of that movie would be amazing, but it's not the original.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
I think you would lose the emotional attachment. And I think that's what I feel with a lot of the remakes. I lose the emotional attachment that I had the first time.
Well, I don't know. I mean, were you emotionally attached to Batman, Keaton's Batman in '89?
I didn't know enough to be.
Because I
know some people are.
Yeah, but I also feel like, Bale's Batman and the Nolan series was okay.
That's not the same Batman, though.
It's not the same. Well, of course, it's not the same Batman any more than Keaton was
like
the same Batman as Adam West.
If you remade the '89 Batman, the exact movie with the exact characters, you probably could, but would it be as good?
It really depends on
the
characters.
If it's rewritten differently and with good characters, it's probably going to be a good film. But my thing is, call it something else.
But I feel like they did remake it.
They did.
The Dark Knight was the remake.
Who's the villain in there?
The Joker. So the iconic scene where
that's one
they're on the top of the cathedral and Batman and Joker kind of having it out. And then in the remake, they're in a half-built building, and the Joker and Batman are having it out. The Joker ends up hanging the same way the Joker ends up hanging. Right?
I never thought about that.
So it was
so technically, but it's still.
So sometimes it's just kind of an ode to the classic, but it is a new age movie, and that didn't upset me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like. I was if you were to tell me like, yeah, that's a remake of the '89 Batman, the emotional attachment to both of those movies still remains the same.
Okay. Can you remake The Color Purple?
Ooh. No.
I'd say that's next to impossible.
I feel like they've even tried.
They've had not similar movies, but they've had movies with a similar theme, and you know it's not. You know it's something completely different.
Right.
It's hard to capture what Steven Spielberg put together in that movie. What Danny Glover and Whoopi Goldberg and I forgot the lady that played Suge and what they brought to those characters. I mean, I don't see how you can touch it.
Right.
But people are starting to touch stuff. I'm like, quit touching stuff. Like, is the Top Gun's a sequel? The Top Gun coming out as a sequel. They're not bringing back what's the girl's name? His love interest from the first one.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember her name, but she doesn't look the same. I'm gonna leave it at that. She don't look the same.
Nice.
She's probably packed on a couple of B's, but she doesn't look the same. Just saying. So there's a whole new thing. He's in. That is coming out this year. The Shining.
What'd you think of the prequel? Or the sequel or prequel? It's a prequel.
I think it was a sequel.
Yeah, it was a sequel.
Sequel. Average to bad at worst.
Really? Dr. Sleep?
I didn't care for it. I understood it. I feel like I understood it. Because I had to go back and watch The Shining before and after I watched it. They're like, what did I miss?
Right.
Because they talked about The Shining in The Shining, but they didn't really exercise what The Shining was like they did in the sequel. So that's kind of what threw me off a little bit. What? Like I didn't understand what the superpower was of The Shining. What is The Shining?
In the book because Kubrick.
Yeah, but you're gonna buy a book and not the movie.
But what I'm saying is Kubrick basically threw everything that what's his name?
Hopefully you guys can hear this because this is off camera. Yeah, get it.
Stanley Kubrick didn't like King's version of the book. He wanted to be an adaptation of The Shining. Mm-hmm. So The Shining, the power was never really spoke in there because Kubrick thought it was not necessary. It wasn't necessary to talk about it. So that's why you don't hear about it. But if you read the book and someone else has already done The Shining one other time, and there's other elements that have been brought in, but if you watch the movie, Stanley at the beginning, when you see this little bug flipped over at the beginning, that's basically Kubrick saying to King, like, this ain't your book.
Wow.
This ain't your movie. I'm turning this shit upside down. So I don't know. I love both The Shining and
Nice.
See, I think as a standalone, I liked it, but as a sequel, I didn't, because of, like you're saying, I feel like there's a disconnect. So there's
Shit's going on in here.
There's a disconnect, and that's what I didn't like about it. So moving on.
Yeah.
We all know that the Empire Strikes Back was 80, Jedi was 83, Breakfast Club 85, Teen Wolf was 85, a hidden gem called Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor, one of my favorites.
Never seen it.
I love the 70s and 80s Richard Pryor films were amazing. They were so funny, well written, well acted. He made a great adaptation from stand up to the big screen, I thought. So he did a few more movies after that when he teamed up with Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
So I love those movies. Another kid favorite was The Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy.
Yes.
Timac, Sho'nuff.
Sho'nuff.
Yeah, and was it what was her name? Her name is Denise Williams. What was her actor name?
Don't get me wrong.
The beauty, the real pretty one. Vanity, yeah. So her name is Denise Williams. She found God sometime after the movie. God bless her. But for that movie, it's one of my favorite. I will stop everything I'm doing to watch that movie.
Really?
Yes. I love it. Trading Places, again, Eddie Murphy.
Great movie.
Another Keenan Ivory Wayans, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Also a good movie.
I love that
was
movie.
80s?
88.
Wow.
I love that film. Staying Alive came out 83. I'm mentioning some movies that, again, they didn't make my list. But they came out.
Yeah. Face Off.
Terms of Endearment, 83. Amazing movie.
Never seen it.
If you've never seen that, it is a tearjerker.
Oh, well.
Great movie, tearjerker.
Never gonna see it.
Wonderful cast. Wonderfully written. Wonderfully acted. It was all around great.
I feel like the probability of me watching that is probably the probability of you watching Flashpoint.
I'm going to talk to...
That's my only Flashpoint joke for the season.
I'm going to talk to Naomi about watching it.
How dare you. Damn it. Damn it.
Another baseball movie, The Natural, came out.
I feel like, honestly, if I can make this joke, joke's on you. She can't make it through movies.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, you guys' fault. It's a great movie. The Princess Bride came out 87.
Good
we talked
movie.
about The Shining. We talked about Top Gun. When Harry Met Sally was 89.
Also a good movie.
And
Billy Crystal, right?
Yep. And Meg Ryan. So, the last one on there was Flashdance with Jennifer Beal. Also another great movie. Another movie I didn't write down that was interesting that I liked was called Vision Quest. Did you watch Vision Quest?
No, I did not.
It had Matthew Modine, and the music for the movie came from Madonna.
Really?
He is a wrestler, trying to wrestle and beat this behemoth in state. So he's really an old man playing a high school kid, wrestling, trying to train himself, have a vision quest to win state, but he ends up falling in love with this woman, and she almost makes him not win.
Always the way.
So I liked the movie. I wrestled in high school. I wasn't in high school when it came out, but really did enjoy Vision Quest. That was kind of a sleeper. So the list that I have, I've listed 10 movies that usually I'll just stop anything and watch. Of course, I said my favorite movie of all time is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Right.
The Goonies.
Yep.
1985. Coming to America.
Hold on. Let's pause right here on the Goonies.
Goonies.
Because for the longest, I never watched Goonies in its entirety as a child.
What?
Yep.
How do you not sit through the whole thing?
Because as I said, when I was younger, we didn't, like, if my mom couldn't buy it at Kohl's, we didn't own it.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%. So, through the 80s, through the 90s, into my young adult life, I was chastised the same way that we get you on Flashpoint for not seeing the Goonies. Yeah, that's 3. Yeah, you're welcome. Trifecta. For not seeing Goonies in its entirety. I'd seen parts, and I got all the references and the jokes, but I had never sat down and watched it from start to finish.
Yeah.
Goonies is a phenomenal movie.
Yep.
I understand why it's such a classic, but I was easily 24, 25 before I saw that movie in its entirety.
I probably saw it 24, 25 times before that.
Right.
I got after Chris for I went summer vacation with his family 6 years ago, and I said, "You got Goonies?" He says, and the kids were like, "What's that?" Chris, you did not introduce your kids to Goonies? Went and bought that Joker, they had a van at the time, played it on the way there. We played it like all the time on the way there and back. I mean,
nice.
It's a phenomenal movie. The kids loved it. I mean, there's so many great movies that we had as kids that I feel like this generation needs to experience, and that's one of them. Okay. I had Coming to America on there. It's kind of, how do you not put that on the list?
Sure.
I would probably get chastised for not putting Harlem Nights on there.
Yes.
I didn't, though. I mean, I like some of these other movies better than Harlem Nights.
Well, Harlem
Nights
was a good movie with a very star-studded cast.
It's a great movie.
But quite honestly, Coming to America was a better movie.
I thought so.
I have a date with Lisa.
It's hard. It's hard.
Dude, yes.
To pick between them, and I tried to spread some of them out because there's so many. My favorite sports movie of all time is Major League.
Yep.
1989. Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen, Wesley Snipes.
The Wild Thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gosh, who's the Allstate insurance guy? I forgot his name.
I know he was Pedro Serrano in the movie.
He was Pedro Serrano. He's my favorite. He's my favorite character because he reminded me a little bit of me when I was growing up playing baseball. Again, it's 89. I was just starting Little League Baseball.
Right.
So I wasn't starting. I started when I was 11. So that's 87. So I played a couple years, and I started hitting the ball better in about 89 as a teenager.
Right.
And I don't know if I could hit a curveball. But I did have some power that I finally got when I was a teenager. Raiders of the Lost Ark, man.
Yeah.
That is such a great adventure movie that I hated seeing them make the one with Shia LaBeouf. I hated
the Crystal Skull.
I hated seeing it because it didn't have the same flavor that Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and all. It didn't have the same adventure.
But we both know what they were trying to do. They were really trying to pass the torch, and they thought that Shia LaBeouf was going to be the next Indy, and that they would be able to keep this franchise going when, there isn't any other Indiana Jones other than Harrison Ford. And he's close to 100 right now, so you're probably not going to.
But he's still doing action films. He's still slinging 20-year-olds over his shoulder. I mean,
he's probably not. There's probably a stunt double doing that, man. And he's probably taking a shit somewhere. So,
next I had E.T.
Yes.
I don't know how you don't have E.T. as one of the best films in the 80s. That was I don't know. That was I'm trying to think of alien movies before that, but this was like a feel-good family movie where the alien's not ripping people's insides out like it had Alien on here. When did Alien come out again? Was that 80? 86.
86 was verified. We talked about 86. That earlier, and you were like, I couldn't believe it. I did verify it. It was 86.
So yeah, I do. I like Drew Barrymore. I can't remember the name of the other kids. But great film, great job. Bit of a tearjerker, very good feel good film. I have The Last Dragon on there. We talked about that a little bit already with Bruce Leroy's real name is Ty Mack. Awkward name, really cool character. Loved everything about that movie. I would still watch it. I still watch it today. I actually own a copy of it, so every blue moon I'm bored.
Right.
I feel like watching The Last Dragon, some Bruce Leroy, and you get the glow.
Right.
You go watch it. Weird Science. Again, came out in 85. The Last Dragon was 85. Weird Science is 85. Breakfast Club was also 85. So it tells me when I really got into movies. Because John Hughes' Breakfast Club, when I go back and watch it, it's not that I don't have the same giddy feeling, because I actually get to see the characters develop as a matured adult.
Right.
And to see what those kids were going through, man, that movie was deep. For what I saw as a kid, it was funny, but as an adult, that movie was deep. They had all those emotional problems and how they worked through them somewhat together, and the unknowns became familiar, and they were friends, maybe boyfriend girlfriend, maybe toward the end. Could they have done a sequel to that if he did something in like 86, 87? What would have happened after they left Saturday school or detention, whatever they call that?
Right.
What could have happened to those guys after that if he did it like a year or two after?
I find it really interesting. John Hughes, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's who did that movie, and he's done a few other movies. Is that Pretty in Pink?
Mm-hmm.
Is that Ferris Bueller?
Nope.
No. Do you know any other movies that John Hughes has done?
They're on a list somewhere.
Either way, I find it really funny that
16 Candles.
16 Candles. Okay, that the movies are not intertwined the same way that Tarantino movies are intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
So you might find references to one movie. You might find references to Kill Bill and Django, for example. Now you might not, but you might. You know what I mean? And you find references to Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill,
mm-hmm.
clearly, and vice versa. So I'm really wondering why they decided not to go that route. I mean, if he did all these movies and they were all intertwined and they were all in the same decade, why were they not intertwined to the point where you would find references from one movie into another? You know what I mean?
I just don't think he was on that level. I think all the movies, I would have to look up, but they had a lot of that cast was in, was it St. Elmo's Fire?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that cast, I don't know if he did that or not, but they called them the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
With Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson, and I don't know who else they would have considered, because I know
Machines.
Emilio Estevez was in there. I don't know if they were part of the Brat Pack. Rob Lowe, I can't remember MacArthur. There was a MacArthur. I can't remember his name. He did Mannequin. Anyway,
again,
you didn't see Mannequin?
No, I did not.
You gotta see Mannequin.
It's about a mannequin.
It's about a dude who's working a lonely schlep who works overnight gigs.
Did you just say schlep?
I did.
What the hell's a schlep?
That's what I just used for like a lazy to do nothing loser.
Okay, all right.
But he works in I don't know if he even works security, but he works in a department store, and one of the mannequins comes to life at night, or maybe just when he's around, and he falls in love with her. So she mannequins up when people are around, but she's like a real person when no one else is around. So his bane is to get her to be a regular person because she's gorgeous. I want to say it's Kim Cattrall as the mannequin.
Okay. I mean, hey.
You know Kim Cattrall?
Yeah. Sex in the City?
I think she's a younger version. I want to say she's in Mannequin.
Huh.
I can look it up later.
Yeah, the Lord.
But, like I said, that's when I started watching movies, and that's where a lot of them have just stuck.
Right.
For references. So, and a lot of, like, I didn't realize Chris and Missy, they watched a lot of them too, so we have a lot of movie reference, like, man, where did they go? Oh, yeah, they were. We do that, like, all the time.
Right.
Because we probably were watching the same stuff growing up as kids.
Sure.
So that's all I have. The last one on the list was Scarface.
Yeah.
I don't know how you don't have Scarface on the list, because
fuck Hector Gomez and fuck the Fuckadores brothers. I bury those cockroaches. That's like my favorite, man.
Yeah, that movie was that was a little bit for me when I was growing up, but like
That was an Oliver Stone movie, right?
Yeah, as I get older, that movie was, I watch it for the cinematic value. As I get older, when you're younger, you're just watching. Even when they have the what's that, the blimp, or where do you see?
The Goodyear blimp.
The world is yours, and he's sitting there, basically contemplating. You see, he's thinking about his empire. And the blimp says, it's just can you imagine having that type of sign, the world is yours?
Right.
Man, I'd be so motivated if I'm sitting there thinking about the stuff that I'm working on and doing to become a better person, or maybe I can do something to make a better life for me and my loved ones. And a sign says the world is yours.
You're going for it.
On it.
Right. Okay, so a couple things. Actually, without recording video the way that we normally do, I don't know how much time we've already lapsed into this. Can you give us a cue? How far? We're good? You good? Okay, so a few movies that you didn't bring up from the 80s that I actually either thought about or I have in a collection. Clash of the Titans.
I did. I didn't know if you would have known that.
Yeah, really?
I wasn't sure.
I am a dork. I am a geek, man.
I love the original Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, I own the original Clash of the Titans. I own both.
See, I got the second one. I love the references in the newer one.
Yeah.
With the owl.
Yeah, with the
owl.
owl.
My God, that owl to me was life. The movie was so basic, but it was so good.
Yeah, it was kind of... Clash of the Titans was experimental cinematics for the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the Kraken and everything and the way that it was shot.
I'm not sure how they did Medusa. Because it almost like claymation.
Yeah, like stop motion animation. Yeah, sure.
And I think for the time that the movie was made, I was in love with that movie.
Yeah.
When I saw it. But I wasn't like, nobody really watches it.
No, I caught that Joker in the $5 bin, and I did not hesitate. I didn't even think twice.
Love Clash of the
Came
Titans.
home with me. Another movie, which is actually funny, because even though we haven't for a long while due to the COVID, my girlfriend and I would go to Trouble Brewing for trivia on Wednesday nights. Mm-hmm. And every Wednesday night, it never ever failed. They were playing Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone.
I did see that in there when I was in there once.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was always playing. If it wasn't playing, people were like, "Dude, where's Over the Top?" And they would put it on.
I think that is it's somewhat underrated, but I think they're just playing off the popularity of Sylvester Stallone.
They 100%
He's playing off his rockiness.
Well, he was jacked. Did you see him? And he's like arm wrestling the extra beefy ass dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I just thought that Over the Top was worth mentioning because I am extra familiar with that movie.
Yeah.
It's like I've never sat and watched it in its entirety, but I've seen that entire movie. Yeah, I really have. And then I can't, man. You know me. Come on. You sit your ass that. No, well, yeah, I guess you do for everything, but we're gonna get you caught up, man.
I told you.
I got fire.
We just need to have a movie night over here and play it, and then we'll be done with it.
It will happen. Another movie that I'm surprised you didn't bring up was No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan. The story wasn't the greatest, but it's Hulk Hogan and Zeus. So if you were fans of like wrestling back in the 80s, which is when I started watching wrestling.
I was until I found out it was fake.
It's fake until somebody slaps you in the chest and you can hear that shit echo through a 60,000 person auditorium.
My mom took me and my brother to see the WWF, not WWE, they took WWF
sure.
at the Coliseum here in Fort Wayne, and I saw how fake it was up close. I stopped watching it after that.
Yeah, it's fake until somebody slapped. Look,
it wasn't even that. It was when they were Tugboat was there. Tugboat spitting stuff into the crowd. I forgot who else was there, but I was like, I'm done. We had the wrestling ring. Yeah. I had Hulk Hogan, the Iron Sheik, Big John Studd, and Andre the Giant. Me and my brother playing, we were wrestling and killing each other, and we did the whole nine until we went to that wrestling match, and I was done.
A wrap.
I was DUN. I was done.
Man, I seen the WWE as an adult. I got free tickets or something like that, so I went to the Coliseum and I watched it, and like it wasn't. It's like the traveling tour, so it wasn't
Mhm.
the spectacle that
Mhm.
you get to see on television. But as an adult, I watched wrestling, man. Stone Cold, The Rock, man, Goldberg. Yeah, I was into it.
Nope.
But as a kid, even more so, you know, the Macho Man, he's iconic.
See, I never even got to. Yeah, I never even got to see. I never got into The Rock and Stone Cold and
You missed out, dude.
all the newer. No,
Because
I
it
did
was
not.
the no, because it was always the theatrics.
Fake.
If you want to know who The Rock is in movies, then you really have to go back and watch wrestling to see where he developed.
I've seen the
his
clips.
persona.
I've seen the clips.
Ah, come
I've
on,
seen
man.
enough. Okay, I'm glad he transitioned out of it. He still
Yeah.
dabbles, but he's kind of
Yeah.
transitioned out of it because he's an actor,
Actually,
and that's all they are. They're athletic actors.
actually, he was the highest paid actor in 2019.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, and I think like 2017.
was that when he jumped 100 feet in the air from the thing and the
what was that, skyscraper? Or some
yeah,
shit?
that was so not believable.
Yeah,
with a fake leg.
Yeah,
Come on,
I
man.
so didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No, come on.
You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, no holds barred. It was like iconic because Hulk Hogan was such an icon in the 80s.
He was.
And then Zeus, who was Tiny Lester
Yep.
from the Friday movie,
Yep.
was the other lazy-eyed iconic person. And to see them like go head to head, I was
Yep.
like, that was, you know what? When I was younger, that was like the only movie I really wanted to see until Batman came out. Was No Holds Barred, and we
Yeah.
actually rented it from like the VHS section in Kroger. That's how long ago it was.
Wow.
Right? Rented
That's
No
taking it
Holds
way
Barred.
back.
Yeah, and it was over the top.
So you guys didn't go to Blockbuster?
Wait, no, because you can get it for 99 cents at Kroger,
I
man.
heard that.
So, in response to your top 5 movies, IMDb list the top. Well, you had top 10. The top 5 movies of the 80s. Starting at number 5. You want to start at 10? Do we have time for 10? Okay, let's start at 10 and we'll just breeze through these jokers real quick. 10 was Aliens, 86, obviously. Rain Man, which neither one of us mentioned,
That was a good movie, though.
but was a really good movie.
What
with
year did it
Dustin.
come out? This thing?
88.
Wow.
Full Metal Jacket is at number 8. Blade Runner, which I'm surprised you didn't mention.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did.
Did you? Oh, well, where was I? I was having a little bit of this. Brazil, which I've never heard of, 1985.
Never heard of it.
Driving Miss Daisy, 1989.
That was a little slow, but it is a good movie.
Number 4, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back.
You know what? I took that one down just because of what else came out after that. I like Star Wars. When I go back and watch Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back was good. I didn't really. I mean, Return of the Jedi is plummeting in my rankings.
Return of the Jedi.
Sorry, man.
It was good. I mean, it wasn't.
I think it's better than some of the middle ones, but I'm just saying it just plummets. I think some of the quality must have.
I feel like it. No, I feel like it was a progressive yet experimental movie with what you could do at the time. You know what I mean?
I still felt like as Luke became a Jedi, he still got his butt kicked a little bit.
Well, they all
He didn't
do.
use enough of this. You know what I'm saying? He had it, never used it.
Well, yeah. What, you gonna go up
He got
against
his-
your daddy with some force?
Dude, he's got when he had Jabba the Hutt in front of Jabba the Hutt asking for Han Solo in the carbonite, I would have just choked him right then and there. I mean, hey, I'm taking my guy, we out.
Yeah, but
Then the episode would have been over, I guess. I don't know.
where's the drama, man? Wouldn't you rather watch Carrie Fisher choke Jabba the Hutt and whatever she was wearing? Yep. See, you're welcome. I rest my case. All right, number 3, Raging Bull. Number 2, Back to the Future, which talked briefly about, and number 1, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Love Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So-
I still watch it. It's a
Those
great
are
movie.
the top 10 movies according to IMDb for the 1980s.
I wonder. Well, I think there should have been. Like I said, I think it's all subjective, right? It's all opinion.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you have some criteria for how you're going to balance all these movies out. Because I look down on the list, I don't see how The Shining's not up there.
Terminator.
I can see that Terminator's not there.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't know about any of these other movies, but there is a lot to pick from. But like I mentioned, Terms of Endearment was a really good movie. If you've never seen it, Shirley MacLaine, Deborah Winger, I want to say even Daryl Hannah.
Dude, Beetlejuice. Did anybody talk about Beetlejuice? Oh, what the fuck, man. We don't even have time for that. I love Beetlejuice as a movie, man. Beetlejuice is a masterpiece.
I did not.
That's why
it's not ranked as high.
Yeah, how did it not make it on a list of 100 freaking movies?
Because
oh my god.
I guess I didn't like it.
Hoosiers
didn't make the cut.
Spaceballs?
No.
They got Spaceballs at 47, by the way.
Spaceballs is stupid.
But they have Beverly Hills Cop at 50.
That is a travesty.
I figured you would say that. I thought you'd say that.
I love Beverly Hills Cop. I like almost anything Eddie Murphy put out. The Golden Child.
Yeah, that was a good movie as well.
And almost anything he put his name to in the 80s was magic.
Ain't nothing wrong with my yang.
Yeah.
I love anything he put out.
So, that is this evening's majorly Mr. Classic segment because he's seen every freaking movie on the planet.
I've seen a lot of those. Yeah, I did. Almost all of them. There were some of the bottom of that list. I haven't seen the bottom because it was at the bottom.
I'm still appalled that you didn't mention Beetlejuice, to be honest with you. You mentioned Mr. Mom, but you didn't mention Beetlejuice.
Mr. Mom's the shit.
Beetlejuice is the shit. Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton.
Terry Garr.
Michael Keaton.
Schooner Tuna.
Winona Ryder.
Whatever, dude.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Mom. If we could rate Mr. Mom versus Beetlejuice, that is a whole conversation in itself.
You know what?
And I think Mr. Mom, only because Beetlejuice was probably two Michael Keaton movies too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's iconic. But I didn't. Was that a?
Did you just not realize they're both Michael Keaton movies?
I just did, actually.
Man, you know what? This is why we can't have that conversation. This is 100% why we can't have that conversation. No.
Yeah.
How about another Michael Keaton movie, Multiplicity?
Yes, also good.
Gung Ho. Anybody watch Gung Ho?
No.
When he went to the auto, his auto company got bought out by a foreign company, and they had to bring in their policy. So it kind of reminds me of B.F. Goodrich and Michelin. Right. You got to adopt. B.F. Goodrich has to adopt Michelin's policy. So his American company has to adopt the policies of this foreign company, and it's an adventure. And they end up playing a softball game. They got new it's a lot going on in that movie, man.
Insane.
I like it.
Very nice.
I liked it. It's very relevant today for where I'm at.
So, next time we get together, are we doing 90s?
90s is going to be challenging.
Then I feel like the 90s should be at 2 segments. We really should cover 90 through 94 and then 95 through 2000.
Because 90 through 94, that's my high school years.
90 through 94, I could afford to start buying movies. I'm maturing
into who I'm gonna be.
Sure.
So the movies that came out were extra, they were amplified.
Right.
I went to the movies a lot more when I was getting older. But in college, because I worked at my school newspaper in college, they gave us free passes to everything.
Nice.
So my movie watching, when we do 2000s, I graduated in 99. So when we do 95 to 99, my list might be off the chain.
Well,
I saw everything.
I fully expect you to hate some classics.
Everything.
Yeah.
Hate some classics?
Yeah.
As long as it's not WWF, I'm probably good.
Mr. Classic hates the classics, man. None of that makes sense to me.
I love a lot of the good classics.
Yeah.
Again, that's why these lists are so subjective. Everyone has an opinion. I think everyone values them differently, and that's what I appreciate about our individuality.
Which, 100% makes it a great discussion.
Yeah.
So, anything else? Got anything else to add?
Nope.
Are you sure?
I mean,
I feel like we're going to get off camera and you're going to be like, you know what? Shit! Shit!
Well, I'm just saying, we're running out of time.
Very, very true.
That's the thing. We have more time.
So you got your Thursday Night Beer review. You got 80s movies covered by myself and Mr. Classic, which we could have easily gone.
We took a lot more. I mean, I know I could have. That's why we probably are going to talk a little bit more after I get
But, honestly, I mean, I hear the drums calling, and he hated Beetlejuice, so that's pretty much the end of this franchise.
That's like strike 2.
Yeah.
One more, you gotta go.
Uninvited. No, okay, so for Three Crafty Bastards, of course, I'm B to the Tiny Short Smith.
Wow.
Yeah, you see what I did there?
I'm Mr. Not Like It Classics, I guess. Whatever.
And we are Three Crafty Bastards. Check us out on YouTube. I feel like you should be doing this. You should be promoting this shit, man, since you're classic.
You know what? You do such a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify on Monday evenings at 7. Check us out on Facebook Live. You can go to Three Crafty Bastards page. We need to get, our producer says we need to get an Instagram page, so I'm going to start working on that this week. You can catch us on Facebook, Three Crafty Bastards, YouTube, Three Crafty Bastards. Go watch our videos. Tell your mama. Tell your mama's friends. Tell your mama's friends. And as always, stay safe. Stay crafty. Cheers. We out.
Peace. This is better than I thought it would be. My